This video contains content that may be confronting.
A man has been charged with the murder of a Sydney woman who was kidnapped from her home and shot dead in a car in April. With more, I'm joined by our reporter Max Tillman in Sydney. Max, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Dan. That's right. Well, 29-year-old Thi Kim has been charged with the murder of Sydney woman Thi Kim Trans in April of this year. Now, what police have told us is that Miss Tran was abducted from her home in Bankstown in Sydney southwest at about 10 p.m. on April 17. We understand she was bundled into a vehicle by a group of masked and armed offenders. Now, a vehicle was found roughly an hour later in the nearby suburb of Beverly Hills with a burnt out body that police identified as Miss Tran, and investigators now believe she had been shot dead. An 8-year-old boy who was also present at the home at the time was struck by a baseball bat in the assault, and he was placed into an induced coma by New South Wales paramedics. And we also understand a 15-year-old boy was also present at the home at the time. Now, police are currently theorising that there could potentially be a link between Miss Tran's husband and a Victorian drug syndicate, a Vietnamese-backed Victorian drug syndicate. Police now believe Mr. Nguyen, who has been charged with Miss Tran's murder, was intimately involved with that criminal syndicate. We understand from hearing from police a little bit earlier today, they will now allege that Miss Tran's husband had been employed by Mr. Nguyen in January of this year in order to work as a methamphetamine cook for that Victorian-based drug syndicate. We understand from what police have told us earlier today, they believe some sort of dispute arose over what the Victorian drug syndicate have effectively accused Mr. Tran's husband of stealing a large quantity of drugs. Mr. Nguyen was then employed by this Victorian drug syndicate to effectively exact revenge. Now, what we've heard from police is that they believe Mr. Nguyen was intimately involved not only in the planning of this crime, but the execution itself. They've described Mr. Nguyen as joining 3 masked offenders in a convoy of vehicles towards that Bankstown home. Police will allege he was the one who knocked on the door itself before allowing those 3 offenders into the home, where they stripped Miss Tran before bundling her into an SUV, as well as assaulting that 8-year-old boy who was present at the time. Now, police have gone as far as not only calling it a callous act, but saying that it effectively breaches a code of conduct amongst criminal organisations to not involve women and children in their disputes. Let's take a quick listen to what police had to say.
This is a threat of violence from a criminal syndicate group that couldn't find the male, so they resorted to family members. We don't see that too often in New South Wales. It's extremely rare, and certainly this organised crime group have I'd say upset a few people out there in the criminal milieu, because this is not the norm. This certainly is not the norm. Family, females, children are normally not involved in these type of revenge attacks.
Now, police are currently hunting for those other 3 masked attackers. They've described them as a murder crew and believe that they're not only local but are still at large. Now, Mr. Nguyen has been charged with murder as well as grievous bodily harm, and he's facing Bankstown local court today.